Bison. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our officials. It is now time to introduce our boxers. Introducing first, boxing out of the red corner, with the white shorts trimmed with red and blue. On the scale, she weighed in 124 pounds and 6 ounces. This evening taking part in her ninth bout as a professional from Leeds, Kira the Viper Carter. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome her opponent facing her across the ring and boxing out of the blue corner with the black and white shorts. On the scale, she weighed in 123 pounds and 14 ounces. She comes to the ring with an excellent record, 7 wins with only 1 defeat. Former WBF champion and former WBA world title challenger from Wolverhampton, Katie Healy.
Okay, boxers, the ball is actually being commands tentatively, quickly, defend yourself at all times. Don't too bold.
Women's Super Bantamweight contest, 2-minute rounds.
Seconds out, round 1.
And Katie Healy, 26 years old. She's been absolutely on the verge of truly elite class, not too far off it, and she is a big favourite to win this one against a fighter in Kira Carter, who's yet to secure a professional win. All her defeats, though, have come on points. Was a very good amateur, Kira Carter, but not really been able to follow it into the professional ranks. Katie Healy, another boxer with a degree. She's got a degree in business and management from Aston University.
Tough contest she had as well with former world champion Nina Hughes, who was an England teammate of mine and a real tough fighter. I mean, talk about, you get into a scrap with Nina Hughes, you know you've been in a fight. So you know, she's been in against tough opposition, and that was at Wembley Arena as well. So as you say, really good experience behind a Katie Healy, despite this being just her 9th contest.
Kira Carter's success as an amateur came principally as a flyweight at the heavier classification now. Does she really have the punch power? So far the evidence would suggest that maybe she doesn't. Katie Healy beat Canada's Shelley Barnett last time out in December over in the Cayman Islands. Commonwealth female silver super bantamweight title. So this is her first fight this year.
Yeah, and that again was another good experience for her. She's the Canadian Shelley Barnett, but she's based in Chicago in the US. So as you well know, John, you know, they bring a different style, don't they? If they've come from different parts of the world, they tend to have a different style, a different approach that you have to make certain adjustments to, and that's what helps you so much if you've had that amateur international background, because you're sparring and fighting with really different styles at all these tournaments and competitions, and it stands you in good stead if you're going to go into the pro ranks.
Healy clearly with the better moves, landing the more emphatic scoring punches in this opening round, and boxing quite nicely. No stage did Carter put her under any sort of genuine pressure. Healy choosing to stand between rounds.
Yeah, it was a decent opening round for Katie Healy, and of course they do feel so much shorter, don't they? It seems to go by in a flash, the 2-minute round, so you've got to make sure that you start quickly and you're really on top of it, because obviously with 1 minute less you just don't have time to ease into any of the rounds.
Healy with a reach advantage and using it to good effect. Carter not really so far been able to get into range to deliver anything particularly purposeful. Hellcat, Katie Healy's ring nickname, against the Viper. Hellcat's winning.
It is. If she could get that, she could find the range for the uppercut as well. It would be a great shot for Katie Healy, because Kira Carter tends to lean forward over that front foot, bringing her head forward, and like she just about finding a range with it there in a couple of occasions. Well, a little bit of a flurry here without much purpose, but if she could time it right, John, and just take that little step back, when Kira Carter leans over that front foot and her head is in that position, it'd be a great shot for Healy to unleash the uppercut. We saw it a couple of times there again.
Well, she's letting her punches go well in this second round.
Yeah, really starting to build in confidence.
Nothing really coming back from Kira Carter.
She's finding a range now, Healy, and I think, as you mentioned, there's no great deal of concern for Healy of what's coming back, so there's nothing to deter her. So there she's able to set things up, pick her shots, and just sometimes when she's in close, which again comes from experience, just not to throw a load of volume of shots without a great deal of purpose.
Well, she won the first round by a distance, and she's won the second round arguably more comfortable than the first. 2 rounds out of 2, and going well at this stage for Katie Healy, not under any real pressure at all, and the corner unsurprisingly looking very satisfied with what's going on so far. What does Kira Carter need to do, in your opinion, to get Healy under any sort of pressure?
When you think if you don't possess the type of power that can, well, as we're seeing here, again, just when Katie Healy puts the pressure on her, she's doing the right thing in tucking up, John, but if you don't have that power to deter them, then it has to come in a different way, doesn't it? Either you've got to be savvy and elusive, a very happy fan there enjoying the action, and try and find a way through to counter those shots. I don't think it'd be a good idea for her to punch with her, because Katie Healy does have that advantage in the power and in the range. So I think what she needs to do is obviously tuck up when she needs to, which she's doing well, but she's got to be savvy and try and find those little openings, because she doesn't possess the power, as you say, to really deter her. So I think when she can just tactically try and block and then counter.
Needs to make it into a genuine contest, and so far she hasn't really been able to do so.
And it'd probably benefit her to try and make it a little bit scrappy, dare I say, on the inside, John, because that would suit Carter more, rather than allowing Healy to work away cleanly on the outside.
Yeah, she's able to maximise her attributes, Katie Healy, and has done so from the outset. Good body shot, nice right hand.
This could do with trying to find those little gaps, Carter. Easier said than done, of course, when someone's bearing down on you and they've got those long levers, but can't match her for power, so perhaps just the work rate. But again, John, that's if you're in the business of trying to win this fight, and you know, if you're asking me what she needs to do to try and win it, that's a different question to.
Well, she's surviving okay, isn't she?
Yeah, exactly, and that's a different tactic altogether. In terms of what she needs to do for that, she is doing what she needs to do. Keeping on the move, tucking up when she needs to, firing back now and then.
Healy varying her attacks quite nicely. Some good body shots, particularly from the right hand. There's another one. Almost followed up with a right to the head. Another pretty one-sided round, and that makes it 3 out of 3.
Bit of blood coming from the nose of Kira Carter after that round. As I say, it's a difficult question in many regards, because the different answers, aren't they? What do you do in this fight if you want to win, and what do you do if it's about getting through the rounds? Because as an away fighter, as we've just been talking about, that the key thing is to be able to fight on short notice, to be able to fight every few weeks. You don't want to take any risks that could mean that you don't get that payday. So I think in terms of getting through the rounds, Carter's doing what she needs to do, but I don't think she's got the capability to really provide any real resistance for Healy.
Healy looking in better condition, better tactically, and the question now is whether she's going to be able to up the pace, step on the gas, and really looking for the first stoppage victory of her career, I wonder.
Well, you want to see a look for that here, don't you? Because, as I say, having fought at Wembley and been in with the likes of Nina Hughes and Shelley Barnett, you want to see her make a statement here. And can she really put together a sustained attack and perhaps give the referee something to think about here, to step back in there again and put more pressure on Carter? Good shot to the body there. Can she load up with those body shots?
She's landed a lot of punches, hasn't she? She has
absolutely.
Found the target.
It's been really good work from Healy.
Right from the outset, she's really worked well and consistently.
Yeah, she's a nice, tidy, technical boxer, that's for sure. It'd be nice to see if she can, once she's put these combinations together, to take a little step back and then go again and perhaps catch Carter off guard. Nice jab there. This is good work from Healy. Single shots, more than doing enough to take these rounds, but I think she's in there with somebody who she can try things with, you know, and vary it up a lot more and showcase her full repertoire.
You can't see any way that Carter, unless she finds something staggeringly different to what she's produced in the first 3 rounds, you can't see any way that she comes anywhere close to winning this fight. So Healy has the ideal opportunity to go through the gears and showcase what she can do.
Yeah, and she's not, let me reiterate, there's nothing wrong with Healy's performance so far. It's been compact, it's been solid, technically sound. But if you're asking me to pick perhaps what she could improve on, it'd just be to perhaps step it up and double up those attacks, go in 2 phases maybe.
You know what you said earlier about throwing the uppercut? I can't recall a single occasion when Katie Healy has really brought one up through the guard of Kira Carter. And if you're going to be hypercritical, that's surely something that she could be working on.
Yeah, because I just think, particularly sometimes when she's gone in with that double jab and she's drawn Carter in, she does lean over that front foot. And, you know, when her head's in that forward position, it'd be just a great shot for her to really unleash an uppercut. That's the sort of shot that can catch somebody off guard and wobble them enough for you then to really step on them and try and force a finish.
Well, she's won 4 out of 4 and she's winning by a streak. The rounds have all been very one-sided.
Yeah, and this is where she can really try things and really showcase what she's capable of and put on a show here on Fight Zone, because she'll surely want to be back in there at the elite level challenging for titles, and this is the time that you want to really put on a great display, a dazzling display, an eye-catching display, so that people notice you and you're back in those realms.
Yeah, and it's about putting bums on seats, isn't it? If you're going to get the big opportunities, you've got to be producing performances, which makes a demand for tickets.
And these days, that, you know, that the sports world, like any other industry, is saturated with content, and you know, sometimes it can be down to a really great 20 or 30-second clip that gets people to notice you, that builds up your following, and people want to see you again, and it can just open those doors. She's really trying to trigger Carter to open her up a little bit, and it can be difficult to break these opponents down when they're not throwing much back, not leaving really a great deal open for you to go at. So you have to pick and prod and find a way through. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Some really good shots being landed by Healy though. There's the little uppercut. That's nice. Some of these single shots have been really clean and accurate. It's been good work from her throughout and consistently as well. I suppose if we're just being picky.
Why not? Carter just isn't competitive in this fight. Seems to be just hell-bent on survival now. That's 20
absolutely.
seconds.
And it can make it really difficult. You know, I've been in these fights myself when you know from the first bell you're in with an opponent who's absolutely no interest in throwing much back, and it
takes two
really
to tango,
difficult.
as they say.
Yeah, it's really difficult to break them down because they just don't leave those openings. That's what creates openings, isn't it? Is when you're both sort of trying to land and take that slight risk. And it only takes a split second, but if they're not even throwing back, they're just purely trying to find a way through. It can be difficult in there.
Last round coming up. Referee Mark Lyson just reminding the two fighters. Kira Carter there did get through with one left hand, but it was just...
And there's less and less
nothing in it at all.
As the rounds are going by, there's less and less coming from her. I think that bit of fatigue is setting in as well. Really want to see Healy turn the burners on a little bit here and apply as much pressure as she can.
This is the 6th. Let's see if she can really make it more of an eye-catching round than some of those which have gone before. She looks as though she's trying to make a statement. She's on the front foot.
Yeah, she's coming forward with real intent and purpose here, which is good to see. I want to see a big final round from Healy because there's nothing coming back. She's having everything her way. So
there's no danger.
Yeah, I really want to see. And this is about mentality now. And we were just talking there to Enis Taj, weren't we? We were saying he was in his comfort zone in previous fights too much. And you don't want to stay in that comfort zone. If there's not a great deal coming back, you want to be able to really step it up and see what you're capable of and really apply the pressure. And she's got it all her own way here, so I really want to see her step it up.
Well, again, Carter's not really throwing anything, and it's all about just how much Healy's going to be able to find. She's looking for that big right hand.
I'd like to see her mix it up as well, downstairs and upstairs, because that could be a way to, you know, for Carter to drop her hands a little bit if she works to the body, and then she can come back upstairs. Got to try and find a way to break her down. Carter done what she needs to do in order to survive these rounds, but offered very little by way of making this competitive. That's where the uppercut could have come in that last little sequence, John, where
but she was ducking low,
rather than punching down with that jab to the top of the head, just come right up.
The referee was telling her to keep her head up. Really, a punch from Healy would have absolutely persuaded her that that was the way. Well, that's 6 rounds out of 6, surely. Very, very one-sided fight. What does Katie Healy gain from that, if anything?
I suppose all you could say is it's 6 rounds under her belt. She was tidy, she was technical, and it's difficult to criticise when someone's in with an opponent who offers as little as Carter did. And, you know, again, I don't want to be overcritical of Carter because she did her job in terms of surviving the rounds, and that's what she was here to do tonight, clearly. But for Katie Healy, I guess she's got the rounds under her belt now. It's another win. She's come through it, and she'll be going on to bigger and better things after this.
Well, it's going to be another shutout win, I'm sure, and we can get confirmation now.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a big round of applause for both of our boxers. After 6 rounds of action, we go to our referee, Mark Lyson's scorecard. which reached 60 points to 54 in favour of your winner, Katie Healey. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a big round of applause for Kira Carter.
Hellcat gets another win. 8 victories against just that 1 defeat against Nina Hughes, a former in a female world bantamweight title fight, going back a little way, but she'll be wanting to show that she's very much in with a chance, and a very real chance, if she gets another world title fight. But perhaps she'd have liked to have seen a win just a little bit more emphatically and explosively than she did. There was no stage of the contest at all that Kira Carter looked remotely in with a chance of winning that fight. Stacey's in the interview position now with the winner, Katie Healy. So in a moment or so, we'll go across and hear exactly what Katie made of her win tonight.
Katie, you've been in there at the very top level with the likes of former world champion Nina Hughes at Wembley Arena, no less. So you've had great experience. What was that like for you tonight? Because that was very, very different to the tough type of fight you will have had with Nina Hughes. Not a great deal coming back from Carter. How was it for you?
I think you hit the nail on the head. It was very different, but it was the perfect fight we probably needed tonight. It's been 6 months since my last fight in Cayman, and we've been working a lot behind the scenes, trying out different things, and tonight gave me that opportunity to practice that stuff with confidence. So I knew Kira was going to be durable, and she proved that in the ring tonight. I was trying to work those body shots and put it on her, really put that power where I could. But no, I think it was the perfect fight that I needed for tonight. It was a different fight. It gave me a chance to try out a different style. So I'm happy, very happy.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because in commentary we were saying there was very little coming back, and you know, any of us that have had those types of fights, we know it's really difficult to break opponents down because there's very few openings. And John and I were saying that perhaps this was a chance to work on things. What were the things that you've been working on in the gym in the last 6 months that you're happy with, that you're able to bring to the fight tonight?
I won't give too much away, but I think body shots were definitely one. I'm used to being an at-range fighter, so sometimes fighting in close is something that's uncomfortable for me and something I'm not used to. So we've been working a lot on that over the last few months, and I was grateful to be able to try that in the ring tonight. And just some other things as well, like trying out a different style of fight and a different stance. It all came together quite nice tonight, and even though I've had a chance to try it in sparring, it's completely different when you're under those lights.
Do you think you could have forced a stoppage tonight, or was that not really in the plans anyway, so to speak?
The first thing Gav said to me tonight was don't try and go for that stoppage, because he knows that when I go in there I always come out disappointed if I haven't got it. It's something I'm working on, something I'm working towards. Obviously, coming from that kickboxing background, it is very points driven. You're used to kind of picking those shots, staying at range. So I'm only 9 fights in, I'm still adapting, I'm still early on in my career, but don't get me wrong, if I'd have got the stoppage tonight I'd have been really happy, but I'm happy with what I did. I'm happy that I got to try that stuff. So Gab will be glad to hear that I'm not disappointed. But yeah, I am grateful that I was able to try a new me tonight.
So the new me, the new Hellcat, what's next?
I want those big fights, I do. Like you said earlier, I've had the chance to be on that big screen, and once you've been on there, you get hungry for it. You want to get on there even more.
Who in your division have you got your eye on? Because every fighter's always got an eye on somebody. Who is it?
Do you know what? I'm not going to shout out any names, and that's because there's not just one person. I watch so many fights, and I'm really lucky to have so many divisions around me that I've got such...
Give us at least one name, go on. Who would you have, if you could pick a fight this year in your division, who would it be?
I recently watched the Stevie Levy and Tyson Gallagher fight. I would like to fight Tysley. I think that would be a really good fight for us both. But yeah, there's so many names out there. That's just one that comes to mind. But I've never said no to opportunities, and I'm not going to start now.
Well, I'm sure they'll be on the cards for you. Really good technical performance tonight, and we're looking forward to what's next for the Hellcat. Well done.